From the OUTV Broadcast Center in Los Angeles, California, this is Brief News Brief, a brief look at today's trending news topics, proudly combating the thought police since 2016. Here's your host, James Heaney.
I'm James Heaney, and this is your Brief News Briefing. California has become the first U.S. state to mandate solar panels on new homes and apartments built after January 1st, 2020. The California Energy Commission unanimously approved this plan, making it the progressive state's next big step towards ending greenhouse gas emissions. California state law already requires that 50% of all electricity comes from non-carbon emitting sources by 2030. Now, critics are noting that the solar panel mandate's going to add between $8,000 and $12,000 to a home's cost. But the Energy Commission estimates, however, that homeowners are only going to see an additional $40 a month on their mortgage, but they're going to save that money ultimately by saving money on electricity costs from the solar panels, right? The new mandate does offer exceptions here where solar power is not feasible or not cost effective, such as homes located entirely under the shade. So if you've been living under a rock for the past 20 years, your land value just went up. California has invested $42 million in solar energy to date, and the mandate's likely going to give a further boost to the solar power industry statewide. The Solar Energy Industries Association already ranks California as the top state when it comes to solar energy. They're number one. They got the golden prize. Stay golden, Cali. On Wednesday, President Trump raised the prospect of taking away credentials from news media outlets that he believes are reporting negatively on his administration. Let me get you ready for a long quote here, okay? The fake news is working overtime. Just reported that despite the tremendous success we are having with the economy and all things else, 91% of the network news about me is negative. Fake. Why do we work so hard and working with the media when it is corrupt? Take away credentials? Question mark? Trump has long been notoriously railing hard against the media, and let's face it, a lot of presidents think the press is out to get them. But the concept of taking away the credentials of White House reporters who cover him would take his media rage to a brand new level. Shortly before his tweet, the hosts of Fox and Friends on Fox News discussed a study by the Media Research Center that was citing these figures, these same figures he was talking about. They were evaluating the nightly newscasts of ABC, CBS, and NBC between the months of January and April. Then, by pure coincidence, Trump tweeted that the Fox and Friends, that same story they were talking about. No, I'm kidding. It wasn't a coincidence, in case you didn't notice the sarcasm. He was watching that show in his underwear, on the toilet, first knuckle deep on the greasiest cheeseburger you can imagine. The president of the White House Correspondents Association said in a statement that if Trump were to carry out this threat, it would be an unconscionable assault on the First Amendment. Others agreed, and I don't know why we need to even say that people are agreeing with this, because this is a fact. Just because the president doesn't like the news coverage does not make it fake. Now, I know that, you know that, but does the president understand that concept? During his presidential bid, Trump's campaign temporarily banned several news organizations from his rally, citing, rallies, plurally. It didn't happen just once. And he cited his dissatisfaction with their coverage. Will he ban the press from covering his presidency? Is that even possible? How? Essential Consultants, LLC. Sounds like a late-night commercial for an 800 number that's still going to charge you money, right? Have you ever heard of this company? Well, on Tuesday, Michael Aviante, Stormy Daniels' lawyer, released financial documents that revealed suspicious cash transfers from corporations to Cohen's shell company, which he's called Essential Consultants. After Donald Trump won the election in 2016, it seems like his lawyer Cohen began to aggressively pitch himself to potential clients, reminding them of his proximity to the most powerful man in the world. And it worked, because he got a lot of work. Cohen received hundreds of thousands of dollars from powerful entities based in and outside of the United States. One company was a pharmaceutical giant, Novartis, who gave him $1.2 million for his promise to give them access to the White House on healthcare policy. Money was flowing in from other companies, too. AT&T publicly acknowledged this week that it hired Cohen to gain insights into the new president and his administration. AT&T paid Cohen at least $200,000. AT&T is seeking government approval right now for its acquisition of Time Warner. Other payments to Cohen include $500,000 from a Russian oligarch, which appears to be under investigation. Both Novartis and AT&T admitted on Wednesday that the Robert Mueller special team had approached them inquiring about payments to Cohen's shell companies. But both companies fully cooperated, and they considered this matter closed. White House Press Secretary Sarah Sanders wouldn't even address the payments during the White House press briefing on Wednesday. She makes a better filter. She's going to get anything dirty out of the water better than a Brita, right? These new revelations raise serious questions as to individuals in Trump's inner circle and what kind of engagements they have with peddling his influence and peddling influence with Russian oligarchs, to say the least. This legal jeopardy appears to be exponentially increasing day by day. North Korea released 3 American prisoners into the custody of Secretary of State Mike Pompeo during his visit to the country on Wednesday. Pompeo flew the 3 men out of Pyongyang on his government plane, saying that they were in good health. They arrived early this morning at Joint Base Andrews outside Washington. Pompeo was in North Korea for 13 hours, during which he met with several top officials, including Kim, for 90 minutes. And then he finalized a time and a location for the Leaders' Summit, which is expected in late June. The release of the 3 prisoners was viewed in Washington as a necessary trust-building measure ahead of the hard-knuckled negotiations over North Korea's nuclear weapons and ballistic missile programs. Amid the optimism about the summit, some senior Trump administration officials sounded caution that the United States isn't going to prematurely soften its stance towards North Korea, although everyone agrees that for the time being, peace talks with North Korea are a wonderful thing, and releasing these prisoners is also great. So yay! This is good Trump news. We can all be happy about this kind of news, right? On Wednesday, Gina Haspel appeared in a hearing before the Senate Intelligence Committee to undergo questions in regards to her recent nomination to replace Mike Pompeo as the new director of the CIA. She's a veteran member of the CIA, trailblazing into the organization in the 1980s. Most of her experience there involves covert, classified actions, but she is known to be involved with the interrogation activities that might be considered, torture. In the hearing, she was sure to draw a moral line, promising that she will not restart the CIA's controversial interrogation program and would disregard any orders from the president to carry out other questionable activities, if confirmed, to lead the agency. Senators continued to push her to see if she personally believes that waterboarding is torture. Now, this is a sticky question, because although it was a dark time in our nation's history, the Bush administration was telling the CIA that the Justice Department had found legal grounds for these interrogation techniques. So as much as we want a woman who doesn't want to torture people in charge of the CIA, it doesn't really matter what she personally thinks, because it's a legal question. Although her resistance to the president's desires to torture are legitimate questions, because on the campaign trail, Trump said that he'd be down to bring back torture. Haspel said, "I would not restart under any circumstance an interrogation program at the CIA. I would not allow the CIA to undertake activity that is immoral, even if it is technically legal." If confirmed, Haspel would become the first woman to lead the agency in its history.